Okay. So today I want to finish up this first part of the subconscious, or at least finish what we were talking about the other day. Was there anyone who didn't get this handout on the conscious and subconscious mind that I gave on Monday? Okay, so get that out for just a second. Now I want to explore something with you. It was really fascinating. Maybe in a way that you've never quite heard it before, how the mind, the conscious and the subconscious mind, kind of interact. Down here at the bottom, we started into this. Have this out so that you can read along, make some notes if you want to. This one. Do you need one? No. Okay. So it says right there that conscious mind activates subconscious mind with dominant thought. Among the 50,000 daily thoughts, those that are the most dominant are seeds planted in the fertile soil of the subconscious mind. The subconscious accepts whatever you plant. So it looks like this. You have a dominant thought, like, I'm shy. Okay, we keep saying that over and over to ourselves. It's not just a flittering thought, it's a, I really don't want to go sit by that person because I'm a shy person. Or I'm bad at math, or I'm... And let me kind of point this out while we're thinking of that. It starts with the programming, at least as far as the kind of results we see in our life. It doesn't start with our beliefs or attitudes. It starts with the programming that sets the stage for our beliefs and attitudes, feelings. And so we have this belief, I'm shy, that makes it into, that becomes a program. Or I'm bad at math, or I'm rotten at golf. You know, whatever it is that we believe. Or I'm a very capable person. I can do this, I can handle this, I can do it. You know, those kind of thoughts that are dominant. And they come down into this subconscious, and they get planted. So there's the seed in the ground, okay? Now, it says, once the subconscious mind is stimulated or activated with the dominant thought, in other words, the seed is planted, it brings to the conscious mind plans to realize the dominant thought. I forgot a book I was going to bring about this. They come into conscious like bolts of lightning, new ideas, for example. Leonardo da Vinci said, the ideas that would suddenly come to my awareness proved to be the most worthy and were in the end found to be infallible in leading me to discoveries of great importance. Now, we mentioned this has to do with, okay, our beliefs that we throw in there, but we also might have desires or goals or things that we would like. Okay? Let's say, or things that we feel like we'd like to do. So we put that seed, and we'll explain in the next today in the next 2 or 3 days, the different ways we do that. But the desire pops in there in the ground. So you got a seed in the ground called, I want to get tickets for the game on Saturday. First thing that came to my head. The subconscious mind, remember, we said the subconscious mind is connected to the superconscious mind, according to Carl Jung. The superconscious mind has access to all, well, we haven't gotten to this yet, but it is connected to everything, essentially. There's a part of us that is connected to everything. And that subconscious mind, it's like, okay, I know everything about everything. And so ideas pop up in here. You have an idea. Do some of you have special places that you notice that you get those more often than others? For example, these happen for me most frequently when I'm in the shower. When I'm in the shower and I'm just shampooing and out of nowhere it just pops in. Does that happen for anyone else? Am I the only one? One day I'm going to invent a shower notepad. Because by the time I'm out of the shower, I've forgotten it. And the thing that people who've written about this aspect, this component of the ideas popping up here, is they don't stay long. And they don't come a lot. They just kind of pop in at times that we're not consciously trying to think of how to make it happen. Right? Middle of the night, 3 o'clock, you wake up and, oh yeah, why didn't I think of that before? Happens to me a lot when I meditate as well. Where you're just, there was one of the, I think it was, one of the founding fathers was talking about this, and I wish I had that book with me. But he said, Sam Adams or one of the original founding fathers, everyone said this guy's the smartest of us all. And he made a statement about this, and he said he likened these to bolts of lightning. They would bolt into his mind, and if he didn't do something with it really quickly, it would dissipate and disappear. So, now, here's the interesting thing about this. The third thing, the conscious mind then evaluates the quality of that which just bolted into your mind. Because the interesting thing is, sometimes these things that come to our mind, let's say that we have a desire of, we want to go to the football game on Saturday, we need to get some tickets. Well, one idea that might come to your mind is, and don't take this the wrong way, but one idea that might come to your mind is, well, I know a person who has 2 tickets, and I'm going to go and I'm going to, you know, go fight him and knock him out so I can have his tickets. The conscious mind, when those come to you, they evaluate and approve or disapprove of them. Because sometimes, it says the plans that come from the subconscious need to be evaluated for appropriateness based on values, right, wrong, good, bad. The subconscious mind has no idea about good, bad, right, wrong, appropriate or inappropriate. It just is a program running machine and an idea creating machine. So you get ideas, you think, no, that's not a good one. That's what the conscious mind is for, to evaluate. Okay? And then, if it says, yeah, that would be a good idea, then what we do is we send it back down. And then at that point, when we say, okay, there's how it will happen, then the mind moves the body, the mind moves the subconscious mind moves things so that they happen in that direction with very little of your conscious control over it. Like the driving. When you're driving, all you have to think to yourself is, I'm going to Jamba Juice today. You don't have to think about, that's the intention that you put down there. I'm going to go get some Jamba Juice. You have the idea, okay, you have the idea, I'm thirsty. Thought goes down there, Jamba Juice. That would be the best thing. And then you analyze it. Would Jamba Juice be a good call right now? I have some money, yeah, it's not far. I have some time. Okay. And then Next thing you know, you're at Jamba Juice. You don't have to worry about the steps and the process and how to get there. You just get there. Now, that's a very physical kind of example, but it works for just about everything that way. Both for the positive as well as the things that we don't want. When we say to ourselves, I really suck at math, your subconscious mind goes, oh, I can create that. And so you'll get into a test and it'll say, well, you told me we're supposed to be bad at this stuff. And you'll go, well, yeah, I guess I'm right. I guess you're right. So I'm going to, and the subconscious mind will go, okay, we're just going to be bad at math during this test. It really does work that way. Questions or thoughts? Yes. Go ahead. I'll go to you, Diana, next.
Your conscious mind analyzes something, and then what part of you disagrees? Like, do you get what I'm trying to say?
Almost.
Like, your conscious mind sits and analyzes something that maybe you shouldn't do, but then you come back and you say, well, I disagree with you, conscious mind.
So like the program says, no, we're still going to get the... So your subconscious mind still says, no, we're still going to get the chocolate tonight at 10:30 at night, a bag full. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah.
So pretty much you haven't done what I'm going to show you next to change this original program. And the program will run. Remember, we said it's a million times more powerful than the conscious mind. So unless that program is changed, it wins. Diana?
So what I was hearing is, okay, so your superconscious mind has these thoughts, triggers, bolts of ideas. The subconscious mind is...
I combined those two, the super and the sub. I don't think I said superconscious, but...
They're a combo?
There's the conscious, and then there's the unconscious, which Jung said there's the collective and the personal unconscious. We kind of lump them together into one, but later on, after we get through our personal self, we'll get into quantum physics and we'll realize that that superconscious or that collective unconscious is everywhere. It is, there is no out there as far as that mind is concerned.
So then your subconscious sparks an idea, or I'm thinking of goals.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so it's like
Good.
this goal that you want to attain or achieve, and you send your conscious mind this spark, and the conscious mind decides if it's good or bad, or attainable or not, or with doubt or with success. At what point? So your subconscious mind is driving you, or is it your conscious mind that drives you?
Yeah.
Both. You answered me. That.
It is. Well, the conscious mind is the engineer. Remember, the conscious mind is the one who's driving the ship. They're saying, okay, we're thirsty here. It's probably a good idea to get a drink. Next thing you know, you're walking to the drinking fountain. You don't have to figure out how to get there, okay? But you also have the conscious mind's always involved in, changing. So you're on your way to your drink and you think, wait a second, I really have to go to the bathroom more. And so you're going this way, you change course. But when you go unconscious, when you stop thinking about things, then this is what takes over. So in goal setting, the way you do this is you decide, okay, I want to have a house, okay? And you send it to the subconscious mind. The subconscious mind says, okay, here's some things that we need to know about getting houses. And here's some information that you hadn't thought of. And it's hard to tell because it's so quick. It's so like, it's going, I mean, the subconscious a million times more powerful. It's always at work. Never sleeps. That's why we dream. But the thing is, what happens is after you've said, okay, let's go after this, then the subconscious mind starts working in your favor to make that happen.
Through the conscious commitment to stay focused.
Yeah. You plant the seed. Unless you do something to that seed, pull it out and say, no, I think I want a condo instead, or no, I want an apartment instead, that seed will continue. If you keep on the idea, yeah, I can have this, I can get it, it's mine, it's possible.
Because the subconscious mind doesn't see right or wrong.
Yeah.
It just sees thoughts.
Just runs the program.
It sees programs.
Yeah.
The conscious mind can really conflict with that. So you're training your conscious mind to be more like your subconscious.
So what we're going to get to next will kind of tell how we do that, how we play with, how we manipulate this seed in our favor.
How do you tell if it's your subconscious or conscious mind? Like, is there a way to tell the difference? You know,
So your
when you're
conscious is
thinking-
always what you're thinking about, and the subconscious is just background. I don't know that there's a... Unconscious, by definition, is unconscious. You're not aware of it, but it's always, the connection's always there. You're always, okay, that's an interesting idea. You're in the shower. Ow. Here's one example where, and when I learned this, I thought, I'm going to use this on everything I can think of. So when I get some email, for example, from somebody, I read it. Or when I get a phone message from somebody that says, please, we need to talk about this, I never, or very rarely, do I immediately respond. I'll read it, and I'll kind of go, okay, that's interesting, I wonder what I should say about it. And that's how I say it. I wonder what I should say about it, and what I've done is pretty much said, all right, I don't know everything I need to know, but some part of me does what I need to know about how to respond in the most appropriate way, and then comes back to me when I sit down with that email the next time. And invariably, the right way to respond to that is aware to me that wasn't there before. And then the next part of that, okay, so that's a good idea. Next thing I know, I'm typing. And I don't have to worry about how to type. The message is happening next. Because I've said, okay, that's a good one, and then it takes care of it. Right?
So talking about that in the subconscious and the programming, can your subconscious combine programs? In other words, I'll study something in physics 2 years ago, and I've got a problem I'm sitting there looking at, I can't figure it out. One of the tricks I've learned is put it aside, walk away.
Mm-hmm.
And then an hour or two come back, and it'll pop in, and I'll be combining stuff from
Same thing.
4 or 5 different classes to solve one problem.
Mm-hmm.
And so is it that you combine?
Well, I wouldn't put any limits on it. I wouldn't put a single limit on the subconscious. To say no, it can't would be heresy. It can probably do any darn thing that it wants.
Okay.
I mean, one of the things, and this is jumping ahead, but this superconscious mind, this part of us that is connected to all that is, we know that it is omnipotent, omniscient, and omnipresent. Omnipotent means it's powerful. Omniscient means it knows everything. So there's a part of us that knows everything there is to know about everything. Or at least we have access to that. Not consciously, but as we learn how to do this process of connecting to the subconscious, yeah, then we start hooking into that which is all-knowing, all-powerful, and everywhere. I'm jumping ahead. I don't need to, but there's no limits at that point. Okay. Any other questions about that?
I don't want to get to the part where we fix it.
Okay, so me too. Okay. All right, so we mentioned then that our dominant thoughts are these primarily that become the seeds. Okay, so the first way that we can affect this seed planting is by becoming aware of our self-talk, by becoming aware of what those dominant thoughts are. And I'm going to try and hit this really fast today because I want to get through it all. But essentially, the book that I'm drawing from quite heavily is this by Shad Helmstetter, called What to Say When You Talk to Yourself. It's a terrific book, but I'm going to summarize it in the next 20 minutes. Essentially, has anyone read this? You have? Did you like it?
I love it.
Yeah, it's a good book. And you can fill in any gaps that how long has it been since you've read it?
Probably 9 months.
Oh, so recently. Okay, so if I fill in any gaps that I leave open. But the idea that he says, he says the same thing. He says, our subconscious mind is a program running machine and doesn't really care. So he kind of sets it up on 4 levels of what we call self-talk, or consistent dominant thoughts. And by being aware of these levels and listening to our self-talk, the kind of conscious communication that we make with ourselves, about ourselves, we can start to change that program. Okay? Now, the 4 levels are this, and this is not like groundbreaking, anything exciting and new. It sounds very common sense. But we have to be vigilant about this, what we are saying to ourselves, or else we get the programming. But as soon as we start tuning into that, listening, then we start to, okay, it's not a program I want. So the first level, the lowest level, and then we'll just do the 4th level because we'll kind of go from worst to best. This 4th level that he uses is what he just calls negative acceptance. And essentially, these are characterized by words such as I can't, I don't, let's see, if only I could, essentially, knocking yourself, saying, this is not possible for me. I can't possibly lose weight. I can't stop drinking Coke. I can't do math. I'm not a courageous person, whatever. Every time we say that, and with some emotion especially, we're planting seeds. Okay? Now, well, I'm going to save that for a second. Does that make sense for everyone? I'm not capable. Those kind of consistent things we say to ourselves. I can't possibly get to my ideal weight. Okay, your subconscious mind goes, whatever you say. I'm just going to run whatever program you tell me. So the next one going up, I'm reading this because I want to make sure I get this exactly how he put it. there's a recognition of need to change, is how he termed it. And this level is characterized by words such as I should, I ought to, I hope to, I'll try. And he says these are not quite as useless as these, or as wrong-headed as these, but they're similarly not very useful. Now think in terms of program writing. Why would that be that these wouldn't be very useful? What?
A lot of commitment.
Okay, think in terms of, yes, that's true, but think in terms of a program. When you say, I should, or I hope to, what is your subconscious hearing? What is the actual thing that your subconscious is hearing?
It's not ready.
Okay, somebody raised their hand. Diana.
But you're not ready. You're not ready.
Yeah, it's not going to happen now. I should do that. Try to pick that up. No, that's picking it up. I want you to try and pick it up. Come on, try. Try really hard.
Okay.
So that's not picking it up. Try to pick it up.
You can't try. You just have to do it.
Hope to pick it up. No, that's not picking it up. No, I put a lot of hope in. I really hope that that gets picked up. Come on, do it. See, Yoda was right. There is no such thing as try. You can't try to do something. You either do it or you don't do it. And when our subconscious mind hears, yeah, I'll try, it doesn't understand what that means. I'll try? I'm either doing it or I'm not doing it. But try is one of those, it's like hope. There's no hope in this sense. You can't hope to get better. You either change or you don't. There's no, it's a fuzzy middle ground that your subconscious mind goes, I don't know what to do with that word that you're giving me. And so nothing happens, no growth, no, it's not allowed to, the seed doesn't make it in there. Okay, does that make sense so far? You hear people say, yeah, I really should lose some weight. Or I should be on time more often. Again, we're shooting on ourselves. It doesn't work. It doesn't, subconscious mind doesn't know what to do with that. Okay. The third level, or going up, which is level 2, I guess, which is kind of below the line, ineffective. Above the line is more effective, where we make a decision to change, is how he termed it. Excuse me. Now, I'm going to write these up here, and this will sound kind of weird, kind of strange. But you have to think in terms of how does the subconscious mind work? It's not logical, it's not rational, it runs programs. So these are characterized, this level is characterized by words such as I no longer, I never, and these are in relation to things that negative things that you'd rather not have in your life experience. Now, why would this be useful? Go ahead.
Planting that seed of I no longer smoke. So when you go, I need to smoke. Oh, I no longer smoke. So
No longer do that. And that's the program. That's a more powerful program to stick in there. Oh, I no longer smoke. I no longer eat, you know, I used to love Three Musketeer candy bars. Loved them. They're the best candy bars, especially when I was a paper boy. There was always this candy machine that we rode our bikes back then, and I would go to this candy machine and they would have Three Musketeer bars, and I'd buy 2 or 3, and then there was a Heaps brick oven pizza around the corner, and I'd get some really good hot chocolate. And I'd have hot chocolate and just about every day. I never made a penny delivering papers, but I always, and so I found myself getting addicted to Three Musketeer bars or anything close, Milky Way, Snickers, all those kind of things. I loved those. And at some point I realized probably not a good idea with all the sugar that's in those and all they didn't have trans fats back then, they didn't have hydrogenated things, but now that's what's in them. And I said, probably not a good idea. So I had to start with, I no longer need those. And I would keep saying that. Whenever I would pass by the machine that had them, I would just say, no, I no longer need those. I no longer need that. I no longer need that. And each time that I could sense that that program was getting stronger because the pull was getting less and less. Somebody had a question.
No, I was going to say it was like the garbage, but I did get just sparked. My mother used to say to me, you don't want or need, prefer. That to me sounds like number 3. I would prefer it if it wasn't like this. I would prefer to lose weight. I would prefer this person to treat me better.
Well, I think prefer is a higher level than that, because it releases your emotional attachment to it. When you say, I prefer that it were quiet in here, or I prefer that people come on time, or I prefer that, and this is primarily for things over which you have no control. When you say, I prefer that it were sunny when it's raining.
But it's not going to affect your conscious state or your subconscious if you prefer. It doesn't have as much power over you. Is that?
Yeah, there's not any emotion. There's very little emotion behind prefer.
So that would be a higher level.
Yeah, I think so. I think so. As a matter of fact, I think it's with the next one.
Okay.
Does this make sense so far? Did you get your thing worked out? Okay.
I just have a question on the second level. So if you say to yourself, I no longer want Three Musketeers, or I never want Three Musketeers. So someone maybe who has a goal of not eating Three Musketeers anymore, and they say this to themselves, but then they eat a Three Musketeers, a lot of times what happens is like, dang it, I ate that Three Musketeers. So is that, I guess is that a byproduct of this level, or is that just is that you not focusing positively on your self-talk? Does that make sense? So like, how do you do that?
Here's what we have to remind ourselves. We have to realize that, again, 95 to 99% of what we do is because of our programming. Okay? Pretty strong stuff. And so when we end up having the Three Musketeer bar, it's just the program is running as you've designed it to, and it's not one of those things that presto change-o, it's no longer in there anymore running your show. It's still going to be in the background going, you haven't erased me completely. Now I do know that sometimes EFT will erase those completely. It is one thing that I have discovered, that is an actual thing. But when it comes to, reprogramming, it's kind of time consuming.
So I'm wondering where like the line is between like believing in it enough, saying like by reprogramming your subconscious by saying I'm no longer going to do this, or I don't want this anymore, and then being like gentle with yourself and realizing like where's the line between you need to believe it enough and not let yourself allow yourself to have those excuses of like, oh well, this is going to take time, so it's okay if I have one like this one time, like I'll be better tomorrow, and between like being gentle with yourself and not beating yourself up with your self-talk. Does that make sense?
Yeah, see, we have this, it's another belief that we have to succeed in everything. We have a belief that there's one way to do this, and that is all or nothing. We have a belief, and if we don't meet that belief, then we have a belief also that we should judge ourselves. It's all beliefs. We should, oh man, I'm awful. I can't do this changing my mind stuff. It's just a belief.
So maybe should you work on reprogramming that then?
That's another one you could work on. I mean, really, I mean, when we go back to our trees analogy of EFT, we all have thousands and thousands of forests. They're always happening.
So like a relapse will occur most of the time. It's just maybe getting back to the level 2 quicker than before. That's
Yeah, and this is where vigilance comes in, where we're constantly, okay, what am I saying that's creating that seed to be growing into a program?
I was just going to say, I think if we continually watch our self-talk, then the relapses come after, because then your self-talk eventually becomes automatic.
The highest one is, I think I don't want to get this wrong. Yes, okay. See, I have a belief that I need to get it right, what I put on the board here. The better you. And this is characterized by things like I can, I do, I am. So you would say things like, I am a non-smoker, I'm a healthy person. Now if you say to yourself, I am a healthy person, then, okay, your subconscious mind goes, okay, then we will do things that tend to be healthy. And next thing you know, you're having a salad. Next thing you know, you're going to work out. Next thing you know, you're doing some yoga. It's not like, that's the whole idea of this, is once you set the program, it becomes the new you. But you have to keep doing that. You have to continually say, you have to be very vigilant about your self-talk that, yeah, you may not believe this at first. I no longer drink soft drinks. Now I don't ever drink soft drinks. If that's what you're wanting to give up, for example. And if we say that, I'm a courageous person, I can do math. Whatever that is for you, if we keep saying these kinds of things, subconscious mind goes, whatever you say. Whatever you say, that's what we'll create. And pretty soon, as you keep saying it, and you override this, because those will still come up. I can't do this math. I can do this. I can do this. I can do this. Pretty soon, your abilities to do math will kick in. Your ability to be a public speaker will kick in. Your ability to be confident next to somebody who you think is a 10 and you're a 3, which is another belief, by the way. Your ability to talk to her, him, you'll find yourself just doing, because your subconscious mind go, oh, well, that's what I do and I'm courageous. I do this. Okay.
I was just going to ask if he, because I noticed that you said, I I can't do this, and then you said I can, you said it 3 times, and I've heard that a negative thought, you have to replace it, and to reinforce a positive, you have to say 3 things to every negative. And I was wondering if I don't know if he did that on purpose, or if he's mentioned anything in that book.
I don't remember a number where you offset one program with another. Because you're saying
self-esteem stuff, like if you put yourself down, then you need to say like 3 positive things about yourself, or different things like that. So
they say in relationships it should be 5 to 1. That you should, if you want a relationship, and we'll get to this later on, but if you want a decent relationship with somebody, the number of positives to negatives should be 5 to 1 is what, I forgot his name, we'll hit him later on, recommends in his working with people. At least, I mean, see, the thing that I'm thinking is, if I'm playing volleyball and I'm out there on the court, I want to never have these things be said. And the instant I do, I go, wait, no, I can do this. I can handle anything that comes my way. I can put the ball anywhere I want. And pretty soon the subconscious mind, okay. Anything that comes 90 mile an hour, I don't know how fast they come. 90 mile an hour, it's not 90.
You can have some major bruises.
We're like 45.
Really? I've seen some that just like bolt through. It's like, holy cow, that's... But if you say to yourself, I can handle this, okay, and you get to it, because your subconscious mind has accepted that you can. Okay.
I guess an observation that just came to my mind from what we were talking about on Monday, that it is super important for us to think about what we say to children, especially if they're under our care. Because like you had pointed out, between 1 and 6, we are in essence 1 through 4 for them.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. You right now should be going, you're great.
Oh yeah, we talked about
You know, having classical music going so she's soothed by your voice. I mean, all those things that we say around people, they're going, especially if they're suggestible. If they're not vigilant, we're doing this for them too, especially when they're young. Okay, here's your quick assignment for this weekend. This won't take you very long, but it's right in line with what we're doing here. How are you feeling today?
Great.
Are you? Good job. Okay, this says, think of your mind as a tape player. You push the play button, the same old thoughts that we had yesterday are played again today. Frequently play mental tapes that reflect thoughts of negativity, weakness, and low self-esteem. In other words, our beliefs. These tapes often include the constant repetition of many bummer words such as the following: no, can't, won't, maybe, never, I can, if only, I don't know, I ought to, I need to, I should, I'll try. It says, bring to mind a situation or event in which your thoughts include some of these words about yourself. In detail, write about the situation here. So I want you to think about primarily a belief you have about yourself that is limiting. Okay, whatever that is. I can't do this, I can't do that, I'm not whatever. And then, now think of how you could select a different tape to listen to which would feed more positive messages into your subconscious mind. Recall those more effective types of self-talk that use such words as I no longer, I am, I can, I will, I do. How can you change your self-talk in this situation so you would act powerfully instead of weakly, proactively instead of reactively, peacefully instead of fearfully? List the following space to write this new empowering tape. Okay? It's very simple. I just want you to kind of get in your head the idea of, what am I saying to myself? How can I change it? Since you have absolute freedom to think whatever you want to think, you can change it. Okay? This is pretty good stuff. All right, so we'll see you Monday. Have a great holiday.